If you're like me, you need a no-fuss way to choosing keywords for pages and posts in WordPress because you're too busy to obsess and your budget is too tight to hire someone to do it for you. If you have years of experience choosing keywords or you're super obsessed about SEO and it's your only way of driving traffic to your website, this tutorial probably isn't for you. But if you need a quick and efficient way to choose keywords for SEO purposes, and you use other methods of driving traffic to your website as well, this video is a great guide to get you started. In previous videos, I showed you how to set up Yoast SEO to help drive traffic to your website, and I showed you how to install Google Analytics and Search Console. If you missed those videos, I highly suggest you watch those videos first, as this video builds on those concepts presented in those videos. Please look below for the links. Now, let's get started choosing keywords for WordPress. I'm Laura from solopreneurmentor.com. I have 15 years experience building an at-home business for web development called D3 Website Solutions. In this video tutorial, I will cover the top SEO tricks you need to know. Next, I will show you how to sign up for Google Adwords using a free Google account so you can research keywords using their Keyword Planner tool. I will also briefly show you how to use other keyword planner tools so that you can choose the one you like the best. Finally, I will show you how to insert keywords into WordPress using Yoast SEO plugin and built-in WordPress features. Let's tackle your technology trouble together. Before I get started showing you some keyword tools that will help you in researching your keywords, I'm going to go over some top SEO tricks that you need to know before you even start choosing your keywords. So the first one we want to review is you want to choose narrow terms, even if that means going local by adding your city. So for example, I have a web development company. So if I were just to put in web development company in my keywords, that may not be specific enough. It's a little too broad and it's a little too hard to compete with all the other web developers in the entire United States. So I could narrow that down even more by saying WordPress web developer or WordPress web development company. That would narrow it down because now I've gone more specific with what I do. I do it with WordPress, and there's not as many people that do WordPress as they do just regular web development. If I were even to say, okay, I even want to target my local city, so then I would even go in to say WordPress web developer Charlotte or something like that, because I am located in Charlotte. And so that would also then further narrow down my term keyword search. Now let's say also maybe it's not where you are currently, but where you want to target. So let's say that I have a friend who owns a study abroad program in Rome. She is not located in Rome, she's located here, but she would probably want to use the words study abroad in Rome or study abroad Rome. Again, she's using a city to narrow down so that everyone that's looking for study abroad programs, she's not trying to compete against all of those people. She's just trying to compete against people that are specific to Rome because that's the only city she's in. So that's how you can choose to narrow down your terms. Try not to be general with them, but try to be as specific as possible. Then you're going to narrow the field for your competition. We'll go over a little bit more of that in a second. Let's research then how often your keyword is searched and how many listings there are. So how many listings there are gets back to the competition. So what you want is keywords that are searched for very frequently, but that there's very few listings that actually hit those keywords. So you have very low competition but high search value, which is great. So that's another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're trying to figure out what keywords to use. And I will show you how to use a tool that will help you figure that out easily. Now you also want to use keywords that apply to what you do, not who you are. So unless you're Starbucks, people are not going to be searching for you by your name, pretty typically. So it may be tempting to put in about D3 Solutions, But most people will not be typing in the search field about D3 solutions. So you got to be thinking as if you're a potential customer that's trying to find you and has no idea what your name is. So don't rely on your name in your search keywords. Rely on what you do. So again, going back to what I do, WordPress web development, that's what I do. It's not who I am. Who I am is my business name, D3 Solutions, or Laura Davis, more specifically, if I'm going with my name. Use SEO tools to generate and narrow down keywords, and that's exactly what we're going to show next in this video tutorial. Create a sitemap with all your pages and posts. Now, a sitemap is what search engines use to go through all of the content in your site easily and quickly so that it can then index all of them and figure out what your keywords are and how they're linked together. And then it then factors into ranking and stuff. So a sitemap is very important. The nice part about it is if you follow my tutorial on how to install Yoast SEO, and also then you included the sitemap in your Yoast SEO plugin, then you're good to go. So you don't have to do that yourself, but it's just make sure that whatever SEO plugin you're using for WordPress, that you activate the sitemap. It's very important. The next thing we want to do is use those keywords that we are generating for a particular page or post in our headings, our titles, our links, our image tags, and as often as possible in the content of the page or post. So if you go back to high school English and you were writing a paper on a particular topic, everything in that paper should support that topic. So think of your keyword as the topic of your page or post. So it's often helpful to come up with the keyword before you even write anything. And then what you're going to do is use those keywords, so probably 3 or 4 words that are put together that are your keywords. So going back to web development Charlotte, in whatever method, like in your headings, your titles, your links, your image tags, in the content as often as possible without it being obnoxious. So if I were to say, this is my keyword, I like to repeat my keyword as often as possible because keywords are very important to, and you just keep going with that kind of thing, it can get really obnoxious. So just be very careful that you don't do what's called keyword stuffing, which means stuffing as many keywords in there as you can. So it has to be natural, but you do want to use that set of terms as often as possible and rearrange sentences as necessary in order to fit it in as best as possible. So if you're having a hard time fitting your keyword in the content of your page or post, it's a good indication that's not the proper keyword for that particular page or post. And we'll go over more of that and how that looks a little bit later in the video. Don't use images if you can use text instead, and never use Flash. No one uses Flash really anymore, but there still are some websites out there that do. Flash is notoriously bad for SEO, so stay away from Flash. And also, don't use images. Text is so much more descriptive because SEO, search engines can pick up the text on a page, but they can't pick up if you've written, so let's say you have an image and on that image you've written contact me at blah blah blah. It can't read that text because it's an image. It's not actually text, and there's absolutely no reason why it should be an image because you can do that with just regular text on your website. You might have to change a few things about how it looks, but you can totally do that in WordPress. So don't use images if you can use text instead. Keep your images to photos or logos or graphics of some sort, but try to use text as often as possible for SEO purposes. Finally, create landing pages for your most important keywords. So going back to my friend who owns a study abroad program for Rome, she would want to make sure that her most important keyword, the keyword that she wants people to find her for, would be Christian Study Abroad Program Rome, something similar to that. And so she would want to make sure she had a landing page just for that particular keyword, because it's obnoxious if you have all these great keywords and they all just go back to your homepage. And then people are like, but I was really specifically looking for maybe what courses you offer for study abroad. So you would want to make sure then you also had a landing page or a page. It's just another way of saying page, but basically where someone lands once they click on that link in the search engine for that particular keyword. So maybe it's courses for study abroad in Rome or something like that, then that keyword would not go back to the homepage. It would actually go to the particular page that it relates to. And you want it to relate very well, because if it doesn't, Google will pick up on that. If people are like, hey, I clicked on this and this has nothing to do with what I was searching for, and they get out of Dodge real quick, Google will then say, oh, you know what, this isn't relevant to this keyword even though you put it in here, so we're gonna knock you down on the rankings a little bit. So keep that in mind. Your keywords have to support the content that's on your page. So don't use one set of generic keywords for every single page, because that's gonna just frustrate people coming to your website, and then it's going to actually hurt your rankings instead. So you do want to craft keywords for every page or post, which is difficult to do. It takes practice, but I'm going to show you how to do it within WordPress as easily as possible, and then give you some more resources that you can read if you really want to dive down deeper into this process. So let's get started, and let me show you how we go about actually doing keyword research. The first thing you want to do is to start brainstorming keywords for a particular blog post or page. Now, for an actual blog post, this is going to be probably an easier process than for a page, because posts tend to be a lot more specific in what they're trying to tackle, what topic they're trying to tackle, versus a page tends to be a little more general. So, for example, an About Us page on a particular website is going to be pretty general in the content that it provides, and so it's kind of hard to come up with some keywords for that. But for a blog post, it's a little easier. So what I always do is I've got my title, and so or basic idea of what I want to write about, and then I just start writing down keywords that I think people will use in order to find that blog post. Now, don't spend too much time on this. You're going to fine tune this. So just start writing down some ideas. And once you have some ideas, what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy and paste these into Google Adwords to try to figure out if they have other suggestions, and to do some research in how many times people are actually searching for those keywords. And that's an important aspect of this too. So I've got some keywords here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Google Adwords account, and I'm going to show you, you should have a free Google account. If you have not set that up yet, then you probably haven't set up Google Search Console, which was shown to you in a previous video. So go ahead and make sure you do that first. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my account. Okay, so now I've logged in with my free Google account, and you can tell again, I don't have to have, it's not a Gmail account necessarily. You can use your own email address with it. So I'm going to type in my address, my website address here. I'm going to click on pick a goal for your ad. I'm going to click on take an action on your website. Pick goal. That looks fine to me. I'm going to click next. Click that. Next. You actually have to create an ad, which you're just going to pause. So and you're also going to have to confirm your payment information and add in credit card and stuff. But what you're going to do is you're actually going to pause the campaign, so you never will be charged. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this recording while I do this. Okay, now I've put in my credit card information. I'm going to continue to my dashboard. And I'm going to click on Get Started. And then I'm going to make sure that this is not active. So I clicked on that active, lots of pop-ups. Okay, now it's inactive. That's what I want. I don't want the ad. That's not why I'm here. So what I want to do now is to go to Google Keyword. So one of the easiest way to do that is to actually Google Google Keyword Planner. And then you can get to the keyword planner here. Make sure you're signed in. Now you're going to go up to Tools and go to Keyword Planner under Tools. Okay? That was a lot to get to the Keyword Planner, but I promise you it's worth it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Search for New Keywords, and I'm going to put in the ones that I have already come up with. So I'm going to just copy those and paste them in. The next thing I want to do is I want to go to Keyword Filters, and remember when I said you want low competition. You want to make sure you choose low competition. That means that not a lot of people are actually competing for this exact same keyword. So we only want low competition. So I'm going to click Save. And then I'm going to click on Get Ideas. And it's going to spit out a bunch of ideas for me. Now, it says that this page shows ranges for search volumes. For detailed view, set up and run a campaign. And I want to set up and run a campaign, so I'm just going to go ahead and dismiss that. But so basically what is it saying is, the average monthly searches is 1,000 to 10,000 for the term SEO keywords, which was one of the terms I put in. And the competition is all low. You can see all these are low. Google Analytics keywords, Yoast SEO keywords, you can kind of see, okay, these aren't as searched for as SEO keywords is. So I probably want to make sure that SEO keywords is one of my focus keywords that I'm going into here. And then Search Console keywords, that's very low. So I don't really want to bother with that one. So probably SEO keywords is one of the top focus words I might want to do. And then you can kind of scroll down, and these are the ones I put in. If you scroll down, these are the ones that they're now suggesting based on what I put in. And that's really important too. So you can go through these then, and you can actually click on this to see what the highest monthly search is for average. So SEO keywords, sorry, this one. Oh, that was 1 million. Come on. Right. Okay. 1 million to 10 million. Google AdWords. That's a really big number, and the competition is low. So maybe that's a focus keyword I want. So basically, I'll just go through these and evaluate and just pick one, and maybe pick then a few other ones that I will use within my website for keywords that might help people. But that's not actually going to be used for SEO purposes, because we are using Yoast, and Yoast by default only uses one keyword for your paste or post. And so if we go over to here, you can see there's a Yoast article, and I'll link to that as well. There's a Yoast article on why they don't use meta keywords. It used to be that we could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 keywords for one particular post or page, and that would be added into the meta keywords. But Yoast doesn't do that, and there's a great article and discussion on why they don't do that anymore. And so really what you're wanting to do with this keyword planner is to just choose one focus keyword that you're going to put in Yoast. And then the rest of the keywords you look at might be good secondary keywords that you then put in your tags for a particular blog post, just for your readers who will then see those different tags and be able to identify your content. So this is Google AdWords, the keyword planner tool. It's a very, very handy tool. If you go under tools, you again, it's under keyword planner. Another tool set is the SEO tool set, which you can find at SEOtoolset.com. They have a set of free tools. If you go up to SEO tools and then go to free tools, and then you can go to keyword suggestion tool, and you can see there's other ones here. I won't show those, but you might want to check those out as well. And then what you can do is you can type in one at a time your keywords. So I would then choose, so that was the top one for the keyword planner that I was looking into was Google AdWords. So if I type in Google AdWords and get suggestions, the SEOtoolset.com will retrieve my keyword suggestions for me. It's not going to be as robust as the keyword planner for Google AdWords, but it can still be helpful, and it might be a little bit less daunting to you to look at and use. So I wanted to show that for you just so you would know that. This one's not real helpful to me. Maybe I want to do SEO keywords and get some suggestions for that one. So this one shows a little bit more. So the activity is how many searches, and you can't really sort them at all through here. So kind of makes it hard to figure out which one's the highest, but when you can see, you can kind of look through and see, okay, keyword is really high for searches. SEO is another high one. Search engine optimization is another high one. So you might find that this is a helpful tool for you as well. Another one is the keyword tool, keywordtool.io. And you can search based on different locations where it's going to pull that information from. So if I do SEO keywords again, and then I can choose, do I want to use google.com? I do in English. If you're in another country, maybe you want to use a different. And then you can see, it won't show you search volume and stuff unless you pay for the pro account, but you can see the different keywords that it suggests here as well. Additionally, maybe you do YouTube videos and you want to see what YouTube has to say about these different keywords, and then maybe you can find some more specific keywords that you might want to tailor your content for. So that is keywordtool.io. Another thing you can do is you can use Google Trends, so trends.google.com/trends. Now this is more showing you what's trending on people's search results. And so this might be a good way to get ideas for what content to write blog posts on. Maybe not necessarily just to find new keywords, but it is good to kind of see what is the trend for people searching for SEO keywords. And you can see an interest over time as to if it's actually increasing, like if the graph is going up over time or if it's going down. You can see it seems to be going up over time, and you can see what region is searching on it the most. And then you can also see related topics that are related to that, and then the related queries that people use. So that also is a very helpful tool. And finally, don't discount just going to Google itself and typing in SEO keyword. And as you're typing in, you can see there's a suggestion here. And so these are suggested based on what you're starting to type in, which means that if it's being suggested, it's actually being used. It's something that people are searching on. Sometimes you can come up with some crazy things that people have been searching on, but this is also very handy to be like, okay, so people are searching not only in SEO keywords, but SEO keyword tool or SEO keyword planner, SEO keyword generator as well. And that's also very helpful. And once you land on a specific focus keyword, you will probably want to Google it and just see what articles are showing up that relate to that keyword and see how you stack against those. So that's also good to do. I probably don't recommend actually clicking on these if you're planning on using that keyword, because then you're giving relevance to these articles that are in competition for you. So you might not want to actually click on them, but you can just get a good idea. And then also you've got searches related to SEO keyword, and you can see what the other searches are that are related to that. So that is all there is to searching and figuring out what focus keyword you want. Now, if you want to get more involved on how to get the perfect focus keyword, Yoast has an excellent article on it at yoast.com/focus keyword on how to figure out what will be a good focus keyword. And you can read more in depth there if you're interested in that. And finally, you can also go to the WordPress SEO by Yoast as well. That is a definitive guide to higher rankings for WordPress sites. There is a lot of information in here which you may or may not be interested in, but if you are interested in digging deeper, this is a great article to read and figure out how to dig in deeper. So let's turn it over now to WordPress. Now, I actually have started my article, The Beginner's Guide to Choosing Keywords for WordPress, which is the video in the article you're on right now. But what I've left out is a few key things. So I'm actually going to use a keyword that's choosing keywords for now, as what I'm going to do for the rest of this video tutorial. And I've already actually put it in my focus keyword. So choosing keywords is my focus keyword. And you can see that there are no meta description has been specified. So that's red. That is this part here. And if I want to actually edit that, I click on edit snippet, and I can copy maybe the first paragraph here and edit it and put it in. So you can see choosing keywords as my focus keyword, and I've added into my meta description. That is the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure whatever focus keyword you choose, actually you use in your meta description. Just gonna delete all that out. Okay. And then usually I add something else more in here, but I'm gonna just leave this here for now because the biggest thing I wanted to show you is that I've actually used my focus keyword in my meta description. So I'm gonna go ahead and click close. And then what I want is, you can see the slug is a bit long, consider shortening it. The first thing I wanna go over here is the title. You can see in my title, I've also put in the keyword. That's very important. Putting in that focus keyword in your title is very important. Now, once that's done, your slug, which is this right here, will also pick up on that, and your slug will have the keyword in here. That's also very important. You can edit your slug. Now, I don't recommend doing this on pages or posts that are active and live on your website, but if you're just creating a draft in WordPress and it's not live yet, you can certainly change this if you want. Yoast by default will take out stop words. Stop words are the, of, to, a, all those kind of filler words that don't mean anything to search engines. And so that can actually shorten the slug if you want. I choose to keep them in there for readability purposes. So that's what Yoast is saying. It's saying that the slug for this page is a bit long, consider shortening it, which would be taking out the, to, and for. So it would just be beginner's guide choosing keywords WordPress, which you can still infer what that means based on that. But so now focus keyword here, focus keyword in the slug. And then what you want is you want your focus keyword to be within the first paragraph of your particular page or post. And so if I'm looking here, I've got it here. I've also got it here. And I've got it here. I've got it 3 times within the first paragraph without being obnoxious. That's the key. Don't be obnoxious about putting them in. And then keep scattering them out throughout your website as much as possible as well. And so again, I've got them in the second paragraph. Now the other thing you want to do is make sure you use them within a title heading. So I'm using a heading 2 here with this as well. So the default for most WordPress templates is that this title will be your first heading, and a post or page should only have 1 heading per page. Now that is up to the theme that you've chosen to decide how that's done. So you really definitely want to make sure your focus keyword is in here. And then later on, you want to make sure that you use a heading of a heading 2 or less. Don't reuse heading 1 because that's reserved for the title of the page. Use heading 2 or less. And make sure you also include that focus keyword in that heading as well. That tells your search engine that this is, again, a very important thing, important keywords for the topic at hand. And then again, you want to kind of scatter it throughout. The other thing you want to do is you actually want to add them into links where possible. Now, do not link out to someone else's article on that same topic you are doing. Otherwise, you're going to shift people to the competition. Now, if you are just doing a very basic guide to something and you want to then link to something that's someone that's doing a more definitive guide, that's certainly up to you to decide that if that's okay for your content. But I highly recommend linking internally where possible, and then again using the keyword in those links as possible. So external linking to other articles is good as long as it's not sending people to the competition. And again, using that focus keyword in whatever links you have. I have not chosen to do that for this article just because it wasn't a natural fit for this particular article. Another thing you want to do is you want to then add in whatever, this is for a blog post, you can't do this for pages, but for a blog post, you can add in extra tags. that pertain to the content at hand. And while it's not used within the meta keywords, because Yoast doesn't use meta keywords, it's still used within the body of a blog post for most themes. So in this particular theme, you can see if you scroll down to the very bottom, these are the tags, and people can click on them to go to different content on my website for that particular topics. So I use tags for that reason, but search engines will also look at that and see where it links off to. So you'll also want to add in tags where applicable. Don't go crazy on this. I actually haven't really looked through and decided which ones are going to be most important. I would not add this many as tags. I would probably choose about 5 and put them in here as the most important tags I want that pertain to this article. And then what I also want to do is I want to set my featured image. And I've already uploaded my image, and what I've done is when I saved my image, I saved it with the title of choosing keywords in the title for the actual image. That's very important. So when you save your image, make sure you save it with your focus keyword. And then in the title, it defaults to whatever you named your image. And so choosing keywords again will be in the title. And what I just do is I copy this and I put this in the alt tag text as well. And this is for screen readers. It's for accessibility. You always want to have alt text, and wherever possible, add in the keyword or the focus keyword for that particular blog post or page into the alt text as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on set featured image. And once I've done that, I can go back down here, and you can see that we're left with the meta description is under 220 characters, and I probably will go back and do that. Again, that's the meta description here. Outbound links, I don't want to do any outbound links for this particular page at this point, so I'm not going to. The slug contains stop words. Again, you can read more on that by clicking on the word stop word here. But everything else is green here. It's pretty good right now that most of this is green. And actually, if you go up here, you can see SEO is good, readability is okay. So you're trying to get green, but let me tell you right now, you're not always going to have to be green, and you have to be okay with that. It's going to take practice. You're going to have orange for quite a while. Hopefully you don't have red. Aim for orange at least. And just try to do your best with this. If we go to readability, we can see why I got an orange for readability. Again, it's hard because most of this is a video tutorial, so I'm not writing a definitive blog post. So that's part of the reason why I'm getting an orange there. Now this other add keyword, if you want to buy Yoast Premium for, I believe it's $69, that price might change occasionally, but $69 it is right now, you can actually add more than one keyword. So you could fine tune a blog post for up to 5 keywords, which you might benefit from. Personally, I'm already overwhelmed by just choosing one keyword. I don't need to choose 4 or 5 other keywords. So I just stick with what's given to me in the free version, and I'm completely happy with that. It helps me then also make sure I'm focusing my content as much as possible. Okay, so that is how you make sure that you insert keywords appropriately. Now, these are blog posts. Blog pages can be a little different. It's a little harder maybe to necessarily see. So let's go to resources for solopreneurs and just take a quick look at that SEO. So if we go down to the SEO, you can see it's orange. Oh no, I didn't get green, and I'm okay with that. Basically, I've decided my focus keyword is resources for solopreneurs, which is the title of the page. Now you can see that I'm using a drag and drop editor, and so sometimes, depending on the drag and drop editor, Yoast SEO may not actually pick up your content from within it, which will also create an orange or even a red. And so that can also create some false positives for you that you might be wigging out and trying to figure out why is it not picking that up. It's because sometimes it can't read into there. But when the page is actually rendered on a user level, so someone goes to your website, they're actually going to still see that SEO, and for SEO purposes, search engines will still see that. So you don't have to necessarily worry about the fact that Yoast is saying, no, I can't see it, no, I can't see it, because the search engines will be able to see it once it's actually rendered properly. So that's just something to keep in mind too. But if you do have that problem where it's not picking up anything from within your drag and drop editor, you want to make sure that you do definitely edit the snippet here, so that that's a meaningful content within the search engine that people can see. And then you can kind of look at through here and decide which ones you're going to do and which ones you can just live without, and try to figure out how it is that you can use the keyword as much as possible. So pages are notoriously more difficult, and it may be that, so for example, let's go back to my friend who owns a company called Rome with Purpose, which is a Christian study abroad program in Rome. And so let's say she has an about page and she's having a hard time trying to figure out a keyword for that page. My advice there is don't get too caught up in it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to find a keyword, and it's going to be hard to repeat that keyword, because an about page is just difficult, because you might have staff listing on there that have different bios, which would be really hard to fit in a focused keyword into those bios. It also then you would have to have paragraphs of text, which a lot of About Us pages don't. They might have a history or where the company is now and what they do, but there's just so much content that can go into an about page, so much diversity there as well, that it's really hard to do one focused keyword. And so I would suggest, you could put in about Rome with Purpose as the focused keyword. And again, that's going back to with what my suggestion for top SEO tricks, not to focus on who you are, but what you do. But in this case, it might be that you really only need people to go to your about page if they're searching specifically to find out more about you as a company using your name. Wherein then I would say the most important part is that there are landing pages that are more general in terms for those keywords. So for example, Christian Study Abroad Rome, make sure that those are fine-tuned and that those keywords are definitely used as much as possible on those landing pages. And then you can kind of say, okay, the About Us page, it's okay, we can push that one to the side. It's not as important that people actually find that page from search engines. Now, it's important though from a menu standpoint, once they get to your website, they can find that page if they want to find out more about you. But from a search engine position, you probably want to focus on 3-4 different pages on your website that are important to you that people find from search engines. And now the other thing, once you do identify those key pages, is we have this checkbox called "This article is a cornerstone content." And if you actually click on this, I highly recommend you read that article on what cornerstone content is. It's very helpful to understand. But basically the gist is that these are the pages or the posts that are the most important content that the search engine could possibly find on your website. And then it also helps to link back to this particular page or post from other pages or posts, so that Google or Bing or Yahoo actually get the picture that, oh yeah, this is a really important article and I want to make sure that I get this right, that I get the keywords right, that I get this ranked right. So I highly recommend that you identify 3 or 4 pages or posts, for that matter, if you're just doing a lot of blog posts. But if you're a company or a small business, 3 or 4 pages that are your cornerstone content, and then you check this box, and then you link back to that as much as possible so people can find it easier and it ranks higher on search engines. And then the rest of the pages, you can try your hardest, but don't put too much time and energy and frustration into it. It's okay if they turn out to be read. So that's all I've got for you on how to fine-tune your pages with Google AdWords, Keyword Planner, SEO Toolset, whatever keyword planner you use, to use that and then put it into WordPress appropriately in titles, in the body content, in the links, in the images, in tags, and wherever else you need to put that information so it's appropriate and not obnoxious, so that search engines can say, hey, yeah, they're right. This is the keyword for this particular blog post. And Yoast does a pretty good job of making sure you then stay on track for that focused keyword. We just tackled your technology trouble together. Doesn't it feel good to use technology the way it was intended? Thanks for watching this video, and please be sure to check out additional resources listed below this video and to share this video with others who may need technology help too. Please visit solopreneurmentor.com for more tips, tricks, and tutorials on how to use technology to make you more productive in building your online business from home.